noticed that every single department had a data science class. It didn't matter if you were studying criminal justice, biology, communications, law, urban planning. Everybody does data science, or at least every department wanted you to have an introduction to it. And the same thing is, you've heard me speak before, I'm such a big advocate of security and that all of us should be security minded. And anybody I'll talk to, if a lot of times people are very intimidated by the concept of cybersecurity, and I remind them, if you have a code on your phone, you're doing cybersecurity. And we all need to be cyber security aware and be advocates of that awareness and be protectors of our children, of our elders, of our friends and communities, of our workspaces, of our personal data. And so I just feel like security really belongs to all of us. It is not, yes, there are departments that do security, and as security professionals know, it goes deep. Just as data scientists know, it goes deep, or geospatial analysts. All of these disciplines have great depth to them. But I think for where we're starting now, I think just becoming more broad is really important, and again, can be at that sort of unique qualifier that can really help you with professional opportunities. And then just more that you can add to your team. And so we're here on YouTube and just wanting to, make it interactive and make it fun and informative. So shifting the query philosophy from block to pipeline. So the SQL declarative, a code snippet could be select, name, average duration from dependencies, where type equals Azure Blob, and group by name. So SQL describes a desired result at once in a rigid monolithic block. The KQL pipeline is a code snippet, is dependencies, where the type equals Azure Blob, summarize average duration by name, and project name, comma duration. So KQL describes the sequence of operations step by step, passing data through consecutive filters and transformers. So call out place -- explain before any standard SQL query in Kusto, and KQL stands for Kusto Query Language, Kusto to instantly generate the KQL translation, providing an immediate learning bridge. So KQL quick reference and when to reach for each. So core operations at a glance, the operator where, so T is where predicate, summarize, T summarize aggregate by column, extend, T extend new column for KQL when data is time series, telemetry, logs, or streaming events. You're filtering high volume data before aggregating it. The query needs to run the same way in Sentinel, Defender, and Fabric. So that's an idea sort of for, when we're going to use SQL and when we would use KQL. The KQL assembly line, core tabular operations, where a filtered great, only specific data shapes pass through, extend, an attachment arm, new calculated components are bolted on, summarize, a mechanical compactor, multiple blocks are squashed into dense aggregated metrics, project, a precision laser, slices away unnecessary edges, keeping exact columns. Actually, that could, I'm like, actually my own question, and I'll kind of ask our moderators and our audience, is this project or is this project? I don't know, and I should, and we all should. Do we have an answer for this? Because it seems in this context, we're actually in project. And then render, a display projector, transform data blocks into a glowing time chart. And the dependencies where type equals Azure Blob, extend latencies underscore MS equals durations times 1,000, summarize average latency underscore MS by name, project operation underscore name equals name average latency, average underscore latency equals average underscore latency underscore MS, render time chart. All right, I'm going to ask our mods. Do we have an answer? Is it project or is it project?
It's project.
It is project. Okay, good. All right, sorry, my geospatial roots are showing. Just I always know in SQL it starts as project, and so that's why I was curious. I was like, where are we going with this? Okay, Copilot for KQL natural language to query. Ask, show me the top 10 users with the most failed sign-ins in the last 24 hours. Copilot generated a KQL, sign-in logs where time generated was greater than 24 hours ago, where result type exclamation equals 0. Summarize failed sign-ins equals count, parentheses, by used principal names, top 10 by failed sign-ins in descending order. So where Copilot helps in Fabric, turns a plain language ask into a runnable KQL query, explains what an unfamiliar query is doing line by line, suggests the name operator as you build a pipeline, fixes syntax errors and proposes corrected queries, and works the same way across Event House, Sentinel, and Defender. So one of the things I just encourage everybody is if you are not used to writing KQL queries, you can do it with the help of Copilot or any of your favorite LLMs. They're all here to help you and make this super simple. Obviously, it always helps to sort of understand more, and that's one of the reasons why I would like today is kind of an overview to help you get started or to further your KQL journey, or just kind of part of it is if you're into cybersecurity, it's just giving you more comfort on the data science side of it. If you're in data science, giving you more comfort on talking and applying security. So that's kind of part of why we do things that kind of have this blurring of these boundaries between these disciplines and showing these disciplines where you share common ground. And that's why I was excited about this session, because I was seeing in my own studies as I was going deeper in my own cybersecurity learning that I was like, oh, KQL, it's all part of the same value. So writing and running foundational KQL queries live against a Fabric event house is something that is an example of how this can be used. And KQL in Microsoft Fabric, again, these are things you're going to see over and over on exams. It is about, so whenever you see KQL, always connect it to real-time intelligence. And when you're thinking about that, that's again, security ends up being that perfect example, because security is real-time logs, what's happening, what just happened. And of course, those are always even more successful when you've captured a baseline. So a big part of security is always anomaly detection. What is different? What is not usual? What is out of bounds? And so having that baseline is so incredibly important to know what normal is. And so you'll see that a lot on the exams is they'll ask you to also kind of drag and drop a query. So whether it's an SQL query or it's KQL query. So getting this basic syntax is super important to be able to do well on those questions that are on those exams. So you have event house, ingestion, dashboards, AI agents, and monitoring are all part of that KQL. So in the event house, the medallion architecture operates as a self-contained refinery. So your bronze layer is the staging. So it's the raw JSON telemetry, lands in a dynamic column, capture everything, lose nothing. Dynamic columns accept semi-structured payloads without rigid schemas. And then we move to the update policy, the engine. Functions automatically extract fields, normalize text, and execute dimension lookups the exact millisecond new data arrives. And then silver layer enriched, data emerges cleanly typed, explicitly mapped, and ready for analytical workloads. And the gold layer is the materialized views, is a, you can bin for hourly, daily, pre-aggregated rollups to power dashboards. So again, as we know with medallions, you move from sort of that raw data to the clean data to kind of the finalized data that is ready to be sort of used, by others in, as the official. And the granular table level controls prevent capacity sprawl. So with bronze table, you have the rationale is raw data passes directly through to silver via update policies, then is immediately dropped to save cost. Silver table, rationale kept purely for short-term pipeline, debugging, and troubleshooting. Gold, dedupe MV, rationale clean operational queries run against this tier. And then gold aggregate MV is rationale long-term trending and BI dashboards hit pre-aggregated data, minimizing compute. So the key insight here is the always-on mode capacity planner trades auto pause cost savings for 100% sub-second queries availability without capacity SKU upgrades. So ingesting streaming data into the event house. So the ingestion path, event streams, no code streaming, ingest from Kafka, event hubs, and IoT sources. 100 plus pre-built connections plus CDC feeds from operational databases. Direct ingestion via KQL for batch files and one-off loads. And streaming in batches land in the same table, one schema, one query surface. So an example of this event stream to event house conceptual model is that we have event routes to a KQL, a destination table, so security telemetry, where time generated is greater than, say, 5 minutes ago. You extend that source plus event stream, project, time generated, event type, source, payload. Real-time and historical queries, one dashboard. Queries across hot and historical data. A single KQL query spans the streaming cache and cold storage. Cache policies decide how much stays hot for fast queries. No separate warehouse or ETL step to compare today against last month. Same query language for a live dashboard and a quarterly report. Real-time dashboards built directly from saved KQL queries, no separate business intelligence layer. Ties auto refresh on a schedule you can control. Parameterized filters lets viewers slice the same query live and shared through the Fabric workspace with existing permissions. Event House Remote MCP, agents query in natural language. So now we use MCP to connect our agents to our workflows. And so you've got your AI agent and your remote MCP server to your event house, to your KQL, to your answer. So what remote MCP enables is MCP, which is the model context protocol, exposes event house as a tool an AI agent can call. Copilot and custom agents translate a plain language ask into KQL automatically. Agents query live telemetry without a human writing a single operator. Same governance and permissions. Model as any other Fabric workspace access and turns Event House into the backend for conversational agentic analytics. And again, back to our conversation where it's about connecting data science and security. One of the things is that when you bring agents into data and analysis, you are bringing more risk. And so when we have done other security related events, one of the big takeaways was that the biggest breach are machine identities. So this is where having that security mindset when you're connecting AI agents, which can be so powerful and do so much more, is making sure that we're thinking security, because these AI agents are, the machine identity. So basically our theme was identity is the breach, was what was kind of our recap of what we saw kind of coming online in 2025. And everybody was saying that would only accelerate as we go forward. So that's something just to be very just aware of. So bringing that to business events and workspace monitoring. A business event in an event house. So Fabric business events, order placed, ticket opened, inventory changed, land automatically. No custom pipeline required to get operational events into a KQL table. The same tools used for security telemetry now analyze business process data, and business and security signals can be joined in a single query. For workspace monitoring, Fabric workspace monitoring exposes event stream health as KQL tables. track ingestion lags, throughput, and dropped events over time, build an operations dashboard on your own platform telemetry, and catch pipeline problems before they become a data quality incident. Now for security, KQL for security professionals, or if you're a data professional wanting to learn more about security, let's talk Sentinel, Defender, hunting patterns, and identity correlation. KQL and Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender. Now all of this lives inside of Fabric, and then of course are their own tools that can be used independently. But what I'm very excited to just continue to share with Fabric users is how much security exists inside of Fabric, and to be aware of it and to utilize it across governance. And we just did a session where we were talking about how it applies to the different roles. So there's certain tools that apply to admin, different ones for engineers, different ones for analysts, and to know that those are all available, and that everybody kind of has a role to play in keeping data secure and also private, which are kind of separate things. I actually I was part of the Fabric Data Lightning Talks. So that was the in a thimble. It was kind of it is a 5-minute talk on data and AI security. And that was the big takeaway there is we all have a role to play. So in Microsoft Sentinel, hunting queries run on ad hoc across ingested log tables. Analytics rules turn a saved KQL query into a scheduled detection. Incident investigation timelines are built from KQL joins across entities, and watch lists enrich queries with your own reference data. And with Defender, advanced hunting uses the same KQL dialect over endpoint identity and email telemetry. Key tables, device events, email events, identity logon events, custom detection rules trigger directly from a saved hunting query. And the unified portal correlates Defender and Sentinel findings on shared entities. And when you're thinking about security and you're thinking about privacy, that's things to think about is in terms of privacy is more about governance. What are the rules? What are the regulations? What are you required to do? And then setting those guidelines for best practices and what the expectations are, and how do you collect data, and how do you minimize the data collection? How do you store data? How do you destroy data? What is that sort of data life cycle? And then you're also thinking in terms of threats, and there's the insider threats, and then there's external threats. And so those are kind of 3 separate things that you're kind of looking at when you're talking about the kind of privacy and security conversations. And then we have these different tools. So the Entra ID is that identity management, both for people and for machine identities. Then you've got Sentinel and you've got Defender, kind of all sort of doing different roles within the security ecosystem. So common security KQL patterns is there's 4 patterns every analyst reaches for. So login anomalies, spikes and failures, or sign-ins for new locations. Privilege escalation, role or group membership changes outside change windows. Lateral movement, one account authenticating across many hosts in a short window. And that was another thing when you think about security, is also thinking about containment. So there may be a breach, someone can get in, but how do you contain it so that they can't go further and they can't just kind of quietly, laterally move through a system? And then there's data exfiltration, again, limiting what data can be removed from a system. And so unusual outbound volumes from a single identity or device. And then each pattern is aware, plus summarize over different tables, and the shape repeats. And so again, a lot of security and data, and what they have in common is this pattern recognition. And that's what both disciplines do really well, is pattern recognition. And data analysts, we visualize that data. And as security professionals, we're always looking for what is the normal pattern, and then how does that pattern break? Or what is the pattern that someone will implement, what makes an insider threat? or what makes an attack and what makes a vulnerability within, within that, what is the attack surface and where are the vulnerabilities there. And obviously with security, it's never going to be perfect. You just have to make a informed decision about how much you want to spend on your security and what's appropriate. And then when it comes to the legal part of it, if there's ever a breach and then you are held legally responsible for that, you always want to be able to make a case to say we did best efforts. The expectation is never perfect, but the expectation is these are the practices that we put in place. This is everything we did. That we have more mods joining us. Samir, we haven't seen you in a minute. Great to see you. Want to introduce yourself?
How is it going? Did you
Good.
already
How are you?
started or?
Yes,
Oh,
we
okay, I'm
did,
a
but
bit
we
late.
welcome your expertise
Okay,
and we
cool,
welcome
cool.
you. Hey, there you are. Good to see you.
Good. Nice to see you
Yes.
too.
So Demir is one of our longtime community members, and all of us, actually, just to give that context, come from the Microsoft Student Ambassador community. I'm wearing my Microsoft swag. They send us great stuff, and then build a community so we all get to know each other and collaborate as speakers and mods and fellow learners and bring it all together. So question for you, Demir. Do you use KQL?
Well,
Is it part of your workflow?
I used to use it before, but
You froze. Okay, when you come back,
so
we'll
I've been
wait.
mostly into GQL right now.
Sorry, you cut out a bit.
But yeah,
What were you saying?
definitely.
Okay, so yeah,
Yes,
feel free to.
I mean, it's definitely yeah, just another query language. I would say that was very optimized to use before GQL came up with this way to manage data, graph data. So I don't know how much into it. I still use SQL, like structured query language I used for years now. But yeah, definitely I can see Kusto that's been used in different languages, from Python to, I don't know, GraphQL and Neo4j. So it's definitely very popular.
Yeah, and today we want to just connect that
So
popularity between security and data, and that just basically say, we've got these very different disciplines, because I think a lot of people consider themselves data people, other people consider themselves security people. And what we want to do is
which
kind of start to bring those together. Your
yeah.
audio is cutting out a little bit, so I'm going to move on a bit, and when you clear
Yeah.
up a bit,
Oh, no. Okay.
yeah. So I'm not hearing you as clearly, but I'll check in with you and see if I can get a better audio from you. So let me just kind of go through a few more slides, and I'll kind of check back in with you. But please jump into the chat. We always love to have a lively chat, so please jump in there. And you guys also all have some resources to share, so please feel free to do that as it allows you to. I know there's some restrictions on that, but we were talking about generic patterns, threshold over a window, sign-in logs where the time generated is greater than 1 day, where the result type exclamation equals 0, summarize failed attempts equals count, by user principal name, IP address, where failed attempts is greater than 10, order by failed attempts in descending order. So again, this is a good example of failed attempts. If it has multiple failed attempts, again, that's not the normal. So now we're doing that anomaly detection. We already have a baseline that maybe a standard failed attempt would be 2, maybe 3 times for a regular user that's not part of a breach. But that if someone is doing multiple attempts, they could be doing a brute force attack or another sort of credential hacking. They're just trying to get into a system that they don't have they're not supposed to be in. But that's a great. So now we're correlating the Entra ID identity signals. So flag identities, signing in from many countries. So let recent signals in equals sign in logs, where time generated is, let's say it's greater than 7 days ago, where result type equals 0, summarize countries, make set to string, location details, country or region. The IPs equal make set IP address by user principal name. So recent sign-ins where array length countries is greater than 2, project user principal name and countries and IPs. And then why this matters, identity telemetry for an Entra ID is just another KQL table. Join it like any other. The output of this query becomes the input into the anomaly detection pattern next. And so the anomaly detection here is that you have more than 2 countries of people signing in. That is going to be a flag that there's an issue in this particular query. That's and again, it's the anomaly detection. It's a flag only because we know that is not a normal pattern for this particular query. If you were having a remote workforce that worked around the world, and that might not, and people travel, that might not be such a big deal. So again, that's why knowing your baseline is always so incredibly important. So now we have time series anomaly detection identifies compromised accounts. So the data source is Entra ID sign-in logs, targeting anomalous user app sign-in location increases. And I would say even sort of doing data science as a geospatial analyst, we love time series. We love showing change over time over locations. So this is another time series analysis for that anomaly detection. So step 1 is build a timeline. Make series, delocation count, decount location string on time generated step, 1D, 1 day by user principal name. Step 2, model the behavior. Extend R-square slope variance, R variance, interception, line fit. So a series fit line, delocation count. And step 3 is hunt the anomaly. So top 3 by slope descending. So the insight is a 0 value slope indicates a stable account. A high positive slope mathematically flags sudden abnormal location switching. And what's really great about, again, when we talk about using Copilot or your other LLMs, they can help you write the queries, they can help you understand the logic of the steps to get from where you are to where you want to go, so that this becomes sort of normalized in your workflow. All right, so let's look at some of the certifications here, both on the security side and on the data side. And the great news is we have access to free vouchers for you for both the data and the security that are going to come from Microsoft Fabric for the data exams and are coming from Microsoft Security for the security exams. And I'll show you where we'll share with you where to go to get those. So the certification context where KQL is tested. So an SC200, which is your SOC analyst, your security operations. The KQL relevance is hunting and detection queries tested directly in Sentinel and Defender scenarios. For SC500, which is your AI-enabled security, these scenario questions built around KQL-driven detections and governance. For DP700, it's the Fabric Data Engineer Associate. It's your event house, event streams, and real-time intelligence pipelines. And in DP800, which is one of the newest data exams, you've got your Fabrics Analytics Engineer. So your KQL querying, modeling, and dashboarding inside of Fabric. So this is where learning and practicing writing those queries is going to be very helpful because you do have a lot of either drag and drop or an example of a line of code saying, which of these is correct. And you are tested on KQL. It is absolutely part of these exams. Now, of course, there's other exams in the security sequence and other exams in data. For example, the DP600 is your data analyst exam. And then your SC300 is your identity exam. And those are, but again, with everybody, we're always very much enthusiastic about everybody studying for exams and taking exams. And that's part of day-to-day is there's resources like finding a study group or just again, using Microsoft Learn is such a powerful tool to help you prepare for your exams. One of our sessions from one of our first half day events that was the kickoff for Fabric Global Fabric Day that we did in June. I absolutely loved and highly recommend to everybody. The last session that we did, and I will share this, was how to prepare for and pass exams by Ladislao Andre. And he has never failed an exam, and he's taken many, and he keeps sequencing his Microsoft certification exams, and he had really, really good study practices and how he prepares and what he does to make sure that he's pretty bulletproof for sitting an exam and passing it, and shares that information with us. So really, really good insights there. But yeah, I definitely, this is one of my things. So having just finished my graduate studies, I wasn't as focused on the certifications, and now I am. So over the next kind of 3 months, I'm going to be taking most of these exams. And so I'm just learning alongside all of you with this. And I'm taking them in both the security and the data stack. So KQL for data professionals. Now let's turn it to the side of the conversation. So you've got geospatial signals, join data, and operational decisions. So geospatial clustering replaces distance calculations with string matches. The mechanism, grouping by tokens, converts a mathematically heavy distance between points calculation into a simple string match, resulting in lightning fast spatial joins. So an example of an input coordinate is you've got negative 122.4 and 37.8. So that's where it falls onto our canvas, and a geopoint to H3 cell. And the output string is this 86283082 FFFFFFF, summarized count by H3 token. So this becomes the grid translation, a native grid system supported in KQL, geohash, common prefixes indicate proximity, S2 cell, cube face centers, fast hierarchical processing, and H3 cell, hexagonal, optimal for radius queries. And joining security logs with business data. So one language, two data worlds. The same join, summarize, and extend operation used for threat hunting work on operational and business data. Location signals become KQL inputs, correlating events with geographic context. A query joining security logs to sales data looks structurally identical to a hunting query. Event house as the connective layer. Event house sits between security logs and OneLake business data. There is no separate query language and no separate pipeline to maintain. The same KQL database serves both audiences. Turning events into decisions before the window closes. So practical patterns for data engineers: set a real-time threshold that triggers a workflow before the analysis workflow window closes. The same anomaly detection plugin used for security telemetry works on business KPIs. Inventory, dips, latency spikes, demand surges. Decisions move from a dashboard someone checks tomorrow to an operational trigger right now. Business events and security events share a clock. Correlating them in time is a join, not a project. So Event House operates as a time-aware memory layer for AI agents. So the problem, AI agents often hallucinate or rely on stale data. Traditional vector RAG is too slow for real-time streaming telemetry. The solution, using KQL Remote Model Context Protocol, an AI agent can write its own native KQL queries against the Event House. The result, data, security, and AI share exactly one language. So your security alert, Entra ID anomaly, your location grid, H3 hexagon, your business data, gold materialized view, and that is going into the AI agent copilot. So the AI instantly correlates a security anomaly with a geospatial grid location using foundational operators against gold layer views in real time. And that's kind of the unifying thing. It's like for a long time, we've and again, I've seen it kind of coming up in an academic environment where even my geospatial studies that were focused on national security were totally separate of cybersecurity. I ended up getting a third master's degree just because I wanted to study cybersecurity, and it wasn't available in my geospatial studies. And that is to say, now that AI is coming in, AI is absolutely unifying it in a way that now it is essential that we are all able to sort of speak the same language because it is universally applicable. And so another an example of a demo that you can build is a security hunting query built and explained step by step. And another demo you can do is a business analytics query using the same patterns, plus Copilot generating and refining KQL. So expanding your tooling, certifications, and applied KQL path. So for security professionals, looking at that SC200 and SC500 path, focusing on Microsoft Sentinel, hunting queries, Defender endpoint telemetry, and creating custom mathematically driven detection rules using advanced KQL. For data professionals, DP700 and DP800 paths focus on Fabric real-time intelligence, event house medallion management, stream deduplication, and continuous telemetry pipelines. And Microsoft Learn resources, highly recommend Microsoft Learn. Complete the KQL learning path for deep dives into advanced tabular operations, dynamic JSON parsing, geospatial clustering, and Copilot for real-time dashboards. So KQL is the shared language, one query language, security telemetry, business events, and real-time signals, queried, joined, and visualized the same way. Pipeline, not block. Data flows through consecutive filters and transforms one readable step at a time. One set of operators where summarize, extend, and join behave identically in Event House, Sentinel, and Defender. And AI lowers the barrier. Copilot and remote MCP means natural language can reach the same queries an expert would write. So that brings us to the close of kind of the initial presentation. And now I want to turn this to Q&A and also hear from our mods because I know you guys have other things to add to this conversation. And I want to share where you guys go to get your free exam vouchers. So yeah, thank you for joining us for Data Days. This wraps out our Microsoft Fabric Location Intelligence Security User Groups Data Days series, which we ran June through August. And we've got full replays of every session, and I'll also be sharing some post-event resources that I just need to finalize. And we definitely invite you to join the Microsoft Fabric Location Intelligence and Security User Group if you are not already part of those, and they exist in the Microsoft Fabric community. Highly recommend you join the Microsoft Fabric community if you're not already part of it. And we also have a meetup group. And then, yeah, we welcome your KQL questions to community channels, and everybody here is welcome. So beginners are always welcome, and invite the professionals here to continue sharing your knowledge and expanding your knowledge as well, especially, you know, things that are sort of just adjacent to your discipline that help to inform and expand your capabilities. So what are some of those community resources for learning KQL learning path? The Microsoft Learn training, just search for KQL in Microsoft Learn, and there are excellent resources for you. Reference SQL to KQL cheat sheet, that is in the Microsoft Learn query, the SQL cheat sheet. Reference KQL quick reference, you can find that at the Microsoft .com Custo query, KQL quick reference, and then the certification study materials for SC200, DP700, as well as the other exams. Now the SC500 is brand new. It just came out of beta, so it's now generally available, and that is going to be your AI-enabled security. And then the DP800 just came out of beta, which was beta in the spring, earlier spring, and that is your AI-enabled SQL. And both of those are kind of really just brand new and ones that I would encourage anybody to study for and take if you haven't already. And then community, again, we invite you to join us and we have a number of events posted on Luma when we do our events. And just, yeah, thank you for this, and just kind of, again, really excited to just bring our community together across these different disciplines, whether it's the data discipline, the geospatial discipline, the security discipline, and seeing how all of these kind of live and exist inside of Fabric. And we're all Fabric people. And I'm going to now, let's see, I'm just going to come back to the top and just use our first screen as a placeholder. And yeah, I'd like to kind of, I'm going to come check out the chat. I have not seen kind of what your questions have been. And I'm going to ask our mods if you guys want to say hello and sort of chime in on how you use KQL, where you see yourself using KQL. Have you seen KQL on exams you've taken? Do you need a KQL for the exams you've got coming up? And while we're doing that, I want to hear from our mods. I then want to share with you where to go to get your, I'll do a screen share of where to go to get your certifications. So if our mods want to chime in, thank you so much for sharing all of those links. I love that and appreciate that. So how to get the swag? I'm just looking at questions in the chat. So we are all Microsoft student ambassadors. And as Microsoft student ambassadors, we get perks for our learning and for our skilling. And that's actually how we came together to do learning and skilling. And that's why, and then I transitioned as I graduated and offboarded from being a student ambassador to being someone who's just a spokesperson in the Microsoft Fabric community, and just saw that there was a gap in both the location intelligence and security conversations, and so we kind of came together to fill that gap. I'm seeing that Vladislav is in the chat. Welcome. So happy to see you. I was actually, I don't know if you heard me before, saying what a great session you did as our Fabric Global Days. And want to sort of remind people to come check that one out because it was so good at sharing with everybody how to get a jump on their studies and have a great opportunity. So yes, I do see the vouchers are in there. So the 2 vouchers, you're going to want to go to Fabric Data Days and if you haven't already, sign up for Fabric Data Days. And this is a qualifying event. So they want you to attend these events either through Microsoft Reactor or through these community-led events. And I believe the requirement is to attend 2 events. Watching a replay also counts. And then requesting your voucher, and it's specifically for DP 600, DP 700, or DP 800. And then there's a new one that is coming up, and the deadline for that is on August 21st. So we're in the sort of the window, and that one has a challenge. So this is a great opportunity to learn more about Defender and Sentinel through the Microsoft security team. And when you complete that challenge, you will also qualify for a free voucher. And that is, so I really encourage everybody to take advantage of those opportunities. And I'll actually do a quick screen share and we'll go to each of those locations. So. Just make sure you can see my screen. Yep. Okay, so this is the Microsoft Defender Challenge. And this one, you can complete the Defender Skilling Challenge and submit an entry for a chance to win one of 550% discounts for SC200, SC500, exam vouchers, challenge entry period, and start the challenge. Actually, there was another one that I feel like we were seeing that was a fully free one. So I want to just double check that because there was a post that okay, so anyways, these are for the half off ones. And these, okay, so yeah, these are half off, discount 50%, Explore Defender, Sentinel best practices. Okay. So this is something I'm definitely going to be doing. And the reason I found this post, so let me just see what this one says. For some reason, I thought this was free cybersecurity certs. So knock out labs, claim the vouchers, walk away with credentials, move the needle in cyber. So I'm a little confused because one of them is saying you're getting free certs, and then the other one is saying you get half off certs. So somewhere between there is the reality of what it is. But whether it's half off or whether it's free, I definitely just encourage everybody to jump in on these because I do think they're very useful, and it is very valuable to get these credentials. They are not only sort of verify the skills you have, show you where your gaps are, but just are really strong for resume building and just sharing with your community your kind of learning journey and what you're up to and the skills that you bring to any role or any team, and just more that you can do. So there's that. And then here is the let's go to the Fabric Data Days and do a quick tour of Data Days. So if you are not already, and definitely encourage everybody to register your account in the Fabric community. And here's our Data Days. And then we've got this week. So you can see things by topic or language. You can learn about the Power BI Data Viz World Champs. Then inviting you to find a user group, finding communities, finding communities India, Spanish speaking. Actually, I know we know Ladislao and Shalom have a user group that is Portuguese. And then there's these SQL and AI sessions coming up. And then these are free. These are completely free. Your Fabric and SQL get certified for free. So complete the requirements and then request your exam voucher. You can also join a study group, participate in contests and challenges, and there you can grab some digital flair. And then let's see what we can learn about get certified for free. So as a participant, you may be eligible to receive 100% discount vouchers. They are saying limited quality, so and you have to submit your form before August 10th. So you've got one more week. And so join the Fabric community, watch 2 Data Day sessions, live or on demand. This is a qualifying event. Complete 3 Microsoft Learn modules from this collection, agree to the terms, and receive your vouchers, usually within 2 weeks. And they all do have an expiration date, so just be mindful of that. And that brings us to, I can end our screen share, and there we are. Okay, so yeah, so other questions. How are our mods doing? Just checking. Thank you for sharing those links. Okay, so I'm just checking our comments, and yeah, just love having everybody join us. And yeah, our series of events had 5,000 attendees over our 6 events. So we're just really happy about, again, this not only just the learning but really the community building that we're doing together. To me is really exciting. All right, so I'm gonna just hand it back to our mods if you want to sort of just tell us how the chat's going and anything else that you'd like to share with us. And I think we can sort of, if we'll take questions if we have them, otherwise we'll wrap up for the day.
Yeah, it was a great session, Philip.
Excellent.
Thank you for the detailed session and with all the links that we are sharing from the chat window.
Fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward for many learnings.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, I hopefully, like I said, we all got a little bit of a deeper dive into KQL and aren't afraid of it and are happy to find ways that we can use it and build our own projects and do our own demos of this. Osman?
Well, I was waiting for Krishna to respond first, first he went a little blank, so I thought he's gonna fine. I was like, I didn't speak as well, so it was great. He came back. So I'm also learning this now. It's fun that I'm getting to know this as well through these streams as well. It's helping me a lot as well. So I'm also enjoying these events. Thank you very much. And I really liked moderating these events.
Well, we love having you, so thank you so much. And Demir, good to see you.
Hey, hello. So sorry for interruption. I had some issues with my connection, so I hope it doesn't happen again. So yeah, thank you for the
hear you
nice
well
session.
now, but I can only see half of you. Oh, you're frozen again.
Thanks.
All right.
All right. You can
There you
hear
are.
me? No?
I can hear you and I can see
Okay.
you.
Okay. Good. So yeah, I mean, I've been also into KQL not so recently, but
And he's gone again.
He's gone again. I was gonna say, if we can fix his connection, I would actually love to have him present for us a GQL. So I think he's working with Graph query language, which sounds something I'm not really familiar with. I mean, obviously seems like a great tool as well, and something we should all know more about. And he's a great speaker and has been a speaker with us at many of my past events. So that's why I'm happy to see him here, but we keep losing him. So with that, I think we can kind of, I don't see any additional new questions in the chat. I just, again, always happy to have everybody here. Love having our mods. So good to see everybody. And I think with that, we're just going to kind of wrap it out for the day and just encourage everybody, if you don't have your Microsoft Learn account, go get your Microsoft Learn account. If you don't have your Fabric account for the community, go register your account with the community. That includes my mods too. Do you guys have your Fabric accounts? I was gonna say, anyways, if you don't have Fabric accounts,
I'll create it right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an amazing community and it's really powerful. And so I definitely, he's back.
hello.
There you are.
Connected now
Yes.
with the phone. Maybe you can hear me better.
I can hear you. I can see you. Fantastic.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I just added a couple of notes on KQL because with the recent release of Fabric IQ and popular terms like ontologies introduced GQL again, which was very popular back in 2020, I think 2019. So now they are using it for organizing business data in those context in a matter of context engineering. So as far as I used KQL in the recent past to manage my, I don't know, uh, data it was more used like for managing monitoring and how to stream all the data and that it is being generated by Microsoft Sentinel, for example. But yeah, now when with this new technology that appeared recently, now I think the more attention is put on allowing.
And he's gone. All right. I do enjoy hearing from Demir, but I'm gonna sit. We'll see if he comes back. I'll give him a second, and then if and not, everyone visit the links provided uh, by KrishnaKath. Yes, for further guidance and resources. Absolutely, I completely agree. Yeah, there's a lot of great links there and great resources, and I think I have my work cut out for me now because I now want to go back and create our post-event resources. But I think it's probably easier for rather than having done it per event because we had 5,000 people sign up and some people sign up across multiple events. I'm going to come in and kind of do like a little mini book that has the chapters of all of our events. Let's see if we can get Demir back. Demir, you back? Are you here with us? All right, Demir, I see that you're muted. All right, I'm going to give you just one more moment. If you come back, come back. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and sign us out because I'm not hearing you. And you back?
Okay. Is
Oh,
it?
you're back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
We
if
want
it
to hear from you
disconnects
as
me
much as we
again,
can.
okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. If I mean, I just call it a day. I mean, I anyway have some bad connection issues. So I mean, anyway, I was just trying to conclude with that graph and ontology thing that was introduced with Microsoft IQ. So while graph was now handling the data, we have those new terms called ontologies, which build a whole new layer on the data that we work with, which is very interesting. But yeah, KQL is still very much used for monitoring and streaming that kind of data in the Microsoft Sentinel and maybe other tools like Microsoft Defender, or I don't know which one exactly. I wasn't working so much, but what drove my attention was exactly this GQL now connected to ontologies.
And what I was saying, I think when I lost you is we would welcome a presentation on that. If you'd like to come talk about that and we can get your connection issues sorted out, we'd love to get you back on stage to lead that session.
Mhm.
If that's something that's interesting to you, because I do think obviously people are talking about Fabric IQ. We had a great session on Fabric IQ, and I really like that idea of sort of reintroducing the GQL concept because it seems like that has utility. And he's gone again. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap us out for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our moderators, as always, for your fantastic work and for being leaders in this community. And we really appreciate it. And always love seeing everybody. I will be a moderator tomorrow on the Microsoft Reactor stage for our session there. And I am actually inviting our mods to say, come moderate over there too, because then you're part of the larger Microsoft ecosystem that is the Reactor stage. Anyways, always and like having our own stage here too. So with that, thank you everybody, and we'll look forward to we got one more. We'll look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you, everyone. Take care.